Okay. Hey everybody. My name is Sanaa and I thought I'd come on. Let me tilt this down a little bit. Tilt down a little bit. Okay. Hey everybody. I figured I'd give my deck a little smoke. I'm getting smoked out of here. I'm getting smoked out of here. But anyway, I am going to do a reading from the African Starseed Oracle deck. From the African Starseed Oracle deck. I'm going to do a pull and see what the deck has to say for us. Then I'm just kind of clearing it. Just getting some fresh intentions. So today was a good day. Today was a good day. You know, I got a lot done. Okay. Got a lot done when the card turned over. Got a lot done. And so I just needed to come on here and share. So if you don't know, I created the African Starseed Oracle deck. And I don't know, it's backwards, so you're not going to be able to see it because I got the camera, you know, kind of the backward way. But anyway, the African Starseed Oracle deck. And it's interesting. I did this deck, and I was like, wow, this is kind of out there. You know, that's what I was thinking initially. And then I was like, no, but this is my truth. This is what I have been studying and what I am learning. And then there was this TikTok video, maybe it was Instagram, I'm not sure, but it was a guy who was asking questions about the history of Black people on the earth. And it was talking about how the people, the beings from Sirius, came and helped to seed life on this planet. There were several beings from other planets who came and helped to bring DNA material to create the Black human. And the human was created to hold multiple realities. So the reality of the cosmos, and to be really connected to the Creator, and to be connected to the earth, and to be able to transmit information through dance and rhythm and sound and music. And I was like, this is so true. And I shared it on my page. So if you be interested, it's on there. But the whole point is not to be like, and I know I've said this before, that we're beings, we're like some being came from on high and did all the really cool stuff that African people did. No. We are the original people. We're the original people. Africans are the original people. And every race descended from an African woman who was from East Africa. That's been proven. Through archaeology. There was an archaeological dig, and the person's name was Lucy. They named it. I don't know why they would name an artifact found in Africa Lucy. But anyway, that's what she was named. And so this glasses, it's easier to be without the glasses. So anyway, African people and black people are descended from people from Africa. And if you're like me, you probably have DNA from other groups, possibly European groups. However, the majority of my DNA is African, from the African continent, from Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, North Africa, Madagascar, South Africa. So I have a little DNA from other places. Actually, this is a really interesting fact. One of my cousins has the same DNA as one of the pharaohs. Yes. One of my mother's male cousins has the same DNA as one of the pharaohs. So that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I'm going to look up here at the camera. So anyway, okay, so let me pull a card. One of the cards that came out is Palladian Priestesses. Palladian Priestesses. This is family you don't know. The Pallades is a star system. And it's a star system that many ascended masters are believed to have come through on their way to Earth, meaning they maybe they had a lifetime in the Pallades where they learned certain truths. There was also a school on Sirius where ascended masters went through and learned some of the teachings of Sirius, meaning they may have incarnated as a Sirian, even though they may have been originally from another place in the cosmos. And so the ascended masters came and they learned certain truths, certain spiritual truths, to be able to prepare to come to the earth. And the earth is said to be a really difficult place. And what makes it difficult is that we forget who we really are. We forget that we're connected to the infinite and eternal presence. We forget that we are of God, a goddess or a god, and that we are made in the likeness and image of the Creator. And that likeness and image is not necessarily physical, but actually spiritual. And we have the capacity to live, breathe, and have our being and speak what we want into being. And so even though I can say this, I'm still learning to actually practice it. So that's fine. You know, that's what Earth is about. It's about working it through, working it out. All right, so I think the deck is ready to pull some cards, and let's see what cards come out. See what cards come out. Just shuffling. Okay. All right. Astarte Warrior Priestess. So that's one. Astarte Warrior Priestess. Hey, Gigi, thank you for joining. Astarte Warrior Priestess, which is about change. And Siren. Your voice matters. Your voice matters. So let me talk to you a little bit about how I came up with these particular cards. This card, the Palladian Priestesses, it was so interesting because when I was wanting to learn about Lemuria, I happened to be led to a woman in Scotland, no less, and I'm in the United States. So there's a woman in Scotland who was doing a guided visualization, and it went through the Pallades. And when she guided us into the Pallades, I saw in my mind's eye, I saw a group of spirits who, I think most of them were female. I mean, I'm assuming they were female, but they were spirits. And when they saw me, they were like family. And I just felt that they knew me. They just knew me completely. They knew all about me, and they said, it's really tough to live on the earth. And I was like, finally somebody understands. Finally someone understands it's tough to live on the earth. You know, especially when you can't quite hold on to the idea of yourself being connected to the source and being able to create your reality, because the reality that's created here is so dense and so reinforced that it's hard to elevate yourself. But if you can do it, then you know you're bad. You bad. Who's bad? You know, if you know Michael Jackson. So anyway, Palladian Priestesses. So you have support that you don't know. You are supported by your spiritual ancestors. You have spiritual support not only from your ancestors, but also from the cosmos, from the angelic realm, from the animal kingdom, from the earth. And you may have support from other places as well, but just keep in mind that you are fully supported. The other one is Astarte Warrior Priestess. Astarte Warrior Priestess. Now, this card represents, this is card number 1, and this card represents the life that I am that's most related to this life. In this life, and I actually did a past life regression in quantum, well, no, it wasn't quantum healing hypnosis, but I did a past life regression, and I went to a life in Syria, and I was a priestess, but I had to also be a warrior, and we were fighting to try to maintain the temples, and in that life, the temple actually fell. The temple that I was responsible for, and the whole town that I was responsible for fell. And I was so disheartened. However, my life ended on a really positive note. We laid down our swords and shields and had a life on the countryside and adopted some children, was able to practice some of the rituals that were core to life as a priestess in that time, and had love and didn't have to fight. And the reality is, it was time for there to be a change. It was a difficult change, but it was destined to happen anyway. And that's the thing. Sometimes we fight for something and we want something in particular. However, the time for it has already passed. And change is important, and it has to happen. It's a part of the natural order of things. So that's a lesson that I had to learn. So I didn't really fail. I fought the good fight in that life, and then had a different life. All right, and then the other card that came up, and if you're watching this, then it's relevant to you. So the other card that came up is Siren. I don't know if you saw the movie of Wakanda Forever, but there were sirens in the water, and this card represents my inclination, and I just kind of one day woke up and figured that I should sing in the water. I live near water, and I realized how important it is to be able to, that you can program water, and if you can program water in a jar or in a bottle, you can also help to program water in a lake or a river. And what if we all sang a sweet song in the river, and the ripples of our voice, of the vibration, the positive vibration rippled out in a positive way? Well, that would just be so transformational for all the life in the water and all the people who live around the water and all the people on the earth. And since all the water is connected, and the water that we have is the same water that was here a million years ago, it just changes form. So we put waste in water. Why not put love? Why not put a sweet sound? So this card is kind of represents that. And it's also saying that your voice matters. What you say into the world matters. And as I've been doing this challenge to go live, the thing that keeps coming up is that your voice matters. So I guess I'm talking to myself too. So, I'm talking to you if you're listening. It's important to bring your light into the world, because that's what helps to reestablish the divine feminine in the world. And that's my purpose, is to help reestablish the divine feminine, and then to help those who want to connect to the divine feminine, primarily women. And I do that through quantum healing hypnosis, belly dance, and connecting to nature, retreats, workshops. But all of it is about us being able to understand ourselves as being wonderfully and sacredly made. That we are connected to the Creator, to the energy that beats our hearts and loves us unconditionally no matter what we do. Everything we do is to understand a different angle of life. So the three cards are the Palladian Priestess, Astarte Warrior Priestess, and then Siren. And if you would like to get the deck, African Starseed Oracle deck, you can get it through my Etsy store or through my website, which is sanaagreen.com. I'm going to be getting a second printing done soon. But the African Starseed Oracle deck is for anyone who feels drawn to to the stars, to maybe being connected to the stars, maybe having been born as a star seed. And the star seeds, as I mentioned at the beginning, is not just about R2D2. I don't know if you saw that movie. What movie was that? Star Wars. Where it was R2D2 and they were walking all strange and they were like robots and they were just so. But life on other planets is it only makes, well, I don't say it only makes sense because it may not make sense to everybody. But anyway, I'm rattling. Get the African Starseed Oracle deck if you like, and remember that your voice matters. That if things have to change in your life, that it's okay. Oh, thank you so much for the hearts and the smiley faces. Love that. Love that. Is that you, Aries Moon? Peace, goddess. Yeah, so your voice matters. Your voice matters. Sound is sound helps to create the reality and helps to create your truth. So you're asking about the Orishas. This particular deck doesn't have Orishas. It's not connected to Ifa. It has a number of goddesses, though, and the goddesses are really more connected to my my journey, and they're not. So I have one. Have you heard of Astarte? Not Astarte, but Astarte was I guess a priestess that religions were built around in different parts of the country. I created the deck. I created this deck, and so yeah, this is based on my understandings of kind of my spirit life. So it has the siren, and there are sirens who, you know, you could tie them to a particular culture. You could tie them to parts of Ifa. I also have a card that's for the Shenandoah, which you can tie to Oshun. And have a card for Divine Mother. This card is really a Divine Feminine deck, but it also ties into the origins of the Divine Feminine. So there are a number of cards here that deal with femininity in some way. It also deals with one of my ancestral homes, which is Madagascar. That's where my maternal lineage is from. And so this card, Amber, deals with Madagascar. Yeah, the artwork is lovely. Thank you so much. I didn't do the artwork. It was done by Brandy Keeler, and she used AI, but of course she put it together, and it was wonderful. Now this card here, Amululu, this is a priestess, a Lemurian priestess, who traveled to Central America and was instrumental in helping to form certain different cultures in Central America. And I created a circle. It's called the Amululu Priestess Activation Circle. And this circle, I put it together because a number of people were coming to me and wanting me to support them in coming into their work as a holistic practitioner. And so in an effort to answer the call or to meet the need, I put together this group coaching program called Amululu's Priestess Activation course. I don't even know what that did, that card. And in the course, it's really not a course, it's a circle. So we'll be meeting 8 times, and we'll talk about different parts of the deck. So my magic, what I'm bringing into the world, is the African connection to Lemuria, the stars, and then also the connection to nature, because I'm an environmental educator and a belly dancer. Not dancing right now, but you know, these are my priestess tools that I'm bringing into the world. And oh yeah, thanks. Aren't they pretty? These are press on. Love them. So the circle is going to be for those who just want kind of a container to be able to launch themselves into the world. So it's an activation. You probably already are activated in your gifts and already know that you want to be a light into the world or unto the world, and you just need a kind of a system that kind of propels you forward a little. And that's what the circle's about. And with the circle, you can come just for the 8 sessions, which will be twice a month starting in June. Or if you want to add on more, you can get the Reiki training. I also am a Reiki master, so you can get the Reiki training at a discount, and you can get the quantum healing hypnosis session at a discount. With the quantum healing hypnosis, you actually can tap into your mystical gifts from other lives and bring those back into this life, so that you can be more effective in utilizing your mystical gifts in this world. And then there'll be a summit. Each person who's a part of the circle and who has all the materials together will be featured in an online summit. So that'll be your entree onto the holistic spiritual scene. So it's on my website. If you want more information, you can check that out. And I didn't expect to be on here this long. Anyway, thanks y'all. It's been so nice connecting. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I look forward to connecting with y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.